A loud slap echoed through Sunnytown's busy street as a rich man named Tom hit a pregnant mad woman, her belly big and round, sending her crashing to the ground. The hot sun burned overhead, and cars honked loud while people shouted in the crowded market. Tom stood tall in his shiny suit, his face red with anger, glaring at the woman who begged with dirty hands. Her name was Rose, her hair wild, her eyes full of tears. Everyone froze, shocked, as Rose cried out, holding her belly. Why would a big man like Tom hurt her so bad? And what would happen next? Tom's heart was cold that day. He owned big buildings in Sunnytown, a busy city with tall houses and noisy streets. People called him Big Boss because he had money and power. But his pride made him mean. Rose sat near his new shop, asking for food, her voice soft and broken. Tom didn't like it. "Get out, you dirty beggar," he yelled, his voice booming. When Rose didn't move fast, he slapped her hard, his hand leaving a red mark on her face. The crowd gasped, some turning away, others whispering, "He's too cruel." Grace, a young girl selling bread nearby, ran over, her heart racing. "Stop it, Tom," she shouted, her hands shaking. Grace was kind, with a warm smile, working hard to feed her little brother Ben. She knelt by Rose, wiping her tears with a cloth. "Are you okay?" Grace asked, her voice soft. Rose nodded, but her eyes showed pain. Tom laughed, his voice loud and mean. "She's just a mad woman. She doesn't matter." Grace glared at him, her chest tight with anger. What secret did Rose hide, and would Tom pay for this? The street buzzed with talk. Traders peeked from their stalls, their faces scared. Grace helped Rose sit against a wall, her belly moving as the baby kicked. "I'll get help," Grace said, running to find a doctor. But Tom stepped closer, his shiny shoes clicking. "Leave her," he snapped. "She's nothing." Grace stood tall, her fists clenched. "She's a person, not your toy." Tom's eyes narrowed, but he walked away, his pride still big. Grace's heart hurt. Rose was pregnant and hurt, and Tom didn't care. That night, Grace sat with Ben in their small room, a candle flickering. Ben hugged her, his face worried. "Is Rose okay?" he asked. Grace nodded, but her mind raced. She thought of Rose's sad eyes and Tom's cold laugh. Why did Tom hate her so much? Grace promised to protect Rose, her heart full of fire. The next day, she brought Rose water and bread, sitting with her in the shade. Rose smiled weakly, her hand on her belly. "Thank you," she whispered. Grace felt warm, but she wondered, what was Tom hiding? Tom came back that afternoon, his face dark. "Get that woman out," he barked at Grace. She stood up, her voice strong. "No, she stays." Tom grabbed her arm, his grip tight. "You'll regret this," he said, pushing her back. Grace fell, her bread spilling. The crowd grew, their whispers loud. Rose cried out, her voice weak, "Please stop." Tom raised his hand again, but a tall man named Paul, a market guard, stepped in. "Enough, Tom," Paul shouted, pulling him away. Tom cursed, storming off, his pride hurt. Grace helped Rose up, her hands shaking. "We'll be okay," she said, but fear grew in her chest. Rose held her hand, her eyes wet. "You're my angel," she said. Grace smiled, but her mind spun. Who was Rose really? That night, Grace dreamed of Tom's slap and Rose's tears, her heart heavy. The next morning, she found Rose gone, a small note in her place. It said, "Meet me at the old bridge." Grace's heart jumped. What did Rose want to show her? She ran to the bridge, a rusty spot by the river, its water brown and fast. Rose stood there, her belly big, her face clean now, not mad at all. Grace, she said, her voice clear, I'm not who you think. Grace stared, her breath short. What big truth was coming? The sun shone bright, and the story was just beginning. Rose stood tall on the old bridge, her belly round, her face glowing like the sun, and said, I'm not mad, I'm rich. Grace's mouth dropped open, her heart racing as the brown river rushed below. It was a hot day in sunny town, the air thick with caw horns and market noise. Rose, who Grace thought was a beggar, wore a clean dress now, her hair neat, her eyes bright. I'm Lily Brown, she said, a billionaire hiding here. Grace blinked, her mind spinning. How could this be? And what would happen to Tom? Lily's story poured out fast. I lost my family to greedy men, she said, her voice sad but strong. I pretended to be mad to see who's kind. Tom didn't pass the test. Grace's chest burned with anger. Tom's slap wasn't just cruel, it was against a rich woman. Lily touched her belly, smiling. This baby is mine, and I'm free now. Grace felt tears, her heart full of hope. But what would Lily do to Tom? The bridge creaked, and the air felt heavy with secrets. Grace grabbed Lily's hand, her voice shaking. Why me? Lily's eyes softened. You helped when others didn't. You're my friend. Grace smiled, but her mind raced. Tom would pay, she knew it. They walked back to sunny town, the streets alive with people. Traders whispered, that's the mad woman. But Lily held her head high. Grace felt proud, her heart beating fast. At the market, Tom stood by his shop, his face red. Get out, both of you, he yelled, his pride still big. Lily stepped forward, her voice loud. I'm Lily Brown, owner of Brown Towers. The crowd gasped, dropping baskets, their eyes wide. Tom froze, his face white. You're lying, he shouted, but Lily pulled out a gold card, shining in the sun. I tested this town, she said, and you failed. You hit me, a pregnant woman, for no reason. People booed, their anger hot. Grace's heart jumped. Tom was in trouble now. Lily turned to her. Grace, you saved me. Your brother's school is paid. Tears fell down Grace's face, her chest light with joy. But Tom lunged at Lily, his hands wild. You can't do this, he cried. Paul, the guard, tackled him, pinning him down. The crowd cheered, their voices loud. Tom's pride broke, his eyes wet with regret. Lily looked at him, her voice calm. You're done, Tom. My lawyers will take your shops. Tom sobbed, his power gone. Grace hugged Lily, her heart full of freedom. She'd stood up and won. Days later, Lily opened a big center in sunny town, a bright place for poor kids to learn. Grace ran it, her smile wide, Ben laughing as he played. Lily stood by her belly big, her face happy. You gave me trust again, Lily said. Grace nodded, her heart strong. The market cheered her name, their pride in her growing. But one night, Tom came, his head low. I'm sorry, he whispered. Grace turned away, her voice firm. Sorry doesn't fix it. The center grew, kids running in, their faces bright. Grace taught them to read, to dream, her heart full. Lily had her baby, a girl with big eyes, and named her Hope. One evening, they sat by the center, the sky pink. I was lost, Lily said, but you found me. Grace smiled, her necklace shining, Lily's gift. She'd fought Tom, saved Rose, and found freedom. Her heart sang with pride. If you feel the power of standing up, share Grace's story with someone who needs hope. Let's show the world kindness and freedom win.